And welcome back to part 6 of What If Midoriya has Zanpakuto, the Kyoka Suigestu edition, the last part in the What If series. This particular series of What If, which means if you saw the title, you might be aware of what's about to happen here. Yes, I do have an idea for this. So we would actually catch up to the joint training, not joint training, but the class training, the joint training arc. Now, obviously, Monema's still acting like a dick, or I was going to defeat you, and Kendo just is like, I apologize for his ass. But more to the point, we don't have the relationship with All Might and Midoriya like we do in the original. So, All Might has given his quirk to Mirio at this point. So that's where all of his attention is kind of focused on, but that doesn't mean he still isn't paying attention to what's going on here. Meanwhile, Midoriya is still meditating with Kyoka Suigestu, just trying to figure things out, and learning more and more. Now, we would get to the actual matches, and most of these, if not all these matches, nothing changes. In fact, the only two things that would really change are as follows. One, Bakugo is still a prick. Like, there's nothing that's actually happened that has drastically changed Bakugo here. So he is actually still very much a bit of an asshole, but he's still someone who can understand his limits. Despite his ego getting in the way, he can understand where his limitations lie and ultimately work with that. So I still think he can learn to work with Class 1A, the other members of the class. So his match wouldn't be drastically different, although he's probably definitely harder to work with. Midoriya, Mina, Ochako, and Mineta versus Monema, Shinso, and the two other guys with the two other the levitation. Oh no, there was three of them. Sorry, it's three of them. So yeah, wait, hold on. Who else was on that last fight team? Deku, Deku, Mineta, Ochako, Mina. Wasn't there a fifth one? I am blanking on this right now. Because in the original, I'm just doing this in my head real quick. The first fight was initially Shota, Kaminari, Asui, Kirishima, and Shinso. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay, there's only four of them. They had a fifth member. That's what happened. Okay, I remember now. Anywho, so in this one, he has to be careful about about paying attention to Shinso and where Shinso might be. And admittedly, he was in the initial fight. But more to the point, he draws his sword, and Monema's like, I remember your quirk very well. All we have to do is not look at it. Is that right? So then I just have to not pay attention. So then, what will you now, I wonder? And just come at you with a sword. He just start rushing in. It's like, are you sure that's wise? And Midoriya's about to answer until he realizes, shatter, Kyoka Suigestu. And Monema's like, huh? What? What, you already released it? And Monema opens his eyes. It's like, good luck with that. Until he realizes that Midoriya comes in and just, swipes him, tries to tap his sword, but it doesn't do anything. He actually has to touch Midoriya here. Although, in theory, I guess Monema's quirk would work by touching the blade because the quirk's in there. But his quirk really just works by touching people. We've never seen it work on an inanimate object. Not to say it couldn't, we've just never seen it. So, excuse me, okay. So, sorry, that just completely threw me off here, my game here. Okay, so he was still at the touch Mineta. I keep saying Mineta. Deku, Midoriya. So many M's in Class 1A. Mina, Midoriya, Mineta, and Monema, Like, seriously, I gotta really try to practice harder on not messing that up. Midoriya, Deku, is able to, get out of the way. Meanwhile, though, oh god, another yawn. What the hell? Okay. Meanwhile, back at the plot, Shinso realizes that he's probably under Midoriya's influence. So I've got to be really careful about this. And so he's got to try to trick him just in the right moment, say using his voice modulation to make it think like it's Monoma talking, which is what he tried to do initially in this scenario, but failed. And he does have the capture cloth, which him and Midoriya can duke it out with because he's got a blade versus capture cloth. Another yawn coming. I apologize. Don't know where this suddenly is coming from. Well, Jesus Christ. Okay. So they're more or less duking it out, trying to one-up each other. Obviously, Midoriya isn't responding to any of his, call and responses, but the capture cloth is making it difficult for Midoriya. Or so he assumes. Like, he's aware that he's probably under Midoriya's influence, and so he makes sure to kind of plot it out accordingly. Like, he has the capture cloth kind of like wrapped around him in like a sort of dome-like area. My senses might be under control, but I'll be able to feel if Midoriya hits my cloth, and that way I'll have the advantage. And Midoriya figures this out and decides to basically show why that doesn't work, why it's all five senses. He makes it look like the cloth is being touched, like an invisible Midoriya is touching. He's like, "Got you!" And then Midoriya's just, "No, I got you." It's like, what? How? And Midoriya is isn't going to explain. Just poof, it's like, it just knocks out Shinso. It's like, not even though you're asleep, I might as well explain this as I get you and Monoma to get to the cell. I can control all five senses, Shinso, not just sight. So I control the combination of your sense of touch and sight to make it look like I had touched your outer barrier of your capture cloth. You're not going to be. So it allowed me to sneak up behind you. You're not going to be waking up, hopefully, for a little bit. And ultimately, Class 1A wins that match. Yay! But now we would fast forward. By the way, I did forget the gentle criminal stuff. Okay, real quick. Going over gentle criminal. Midoriya probably runs in the gentle. Now, he wouldn't have his sword on him. But he would still be able to put gentle in a illusion. And because of that, gentle and probably La Brava too, they do end up, how Midoriya basically messes with them is that he confuses, he attacks them. It's like, I'm sorry, I must depart. And so he confuses their sense of direction and essentially just has them go in the opposite direction until they wind up in front of the police station. He could totally screw with them and it's all good. Anyway, we would actually have to fast forward at this point to the basically the first attack from the paramilitary and the League of Villains. Oh god, why am I suddenly yawning so much? Do I need a nap? I mean, I think honestly it doesn't sound too bad, but seriously, what's going on? Anyway, so Midoriya. For the first invasion. Midoriya doesn't have one for all here. Mirio does. And Mirio has probably been training in secret with this, even though he did lose his quirk. Oh, actually, no, I think I stopped. Nope. He would have still lost his quirk. Midoriya came in after he lost his quirk. So he does have his full power. He just doesn't have his quirk here. Which sucks. With his quirk, he'd be one of the most powerful one-for-all users there is. I don't know why I'm yawning. I seriously don't know why I suddenly started to yawn. Holy crap. Anyway. Point being, Bakugo and Midoriya are probably traveling best they can. Although Midoriya doesn't have a way for super speed. And so when Shigaraki comes in, he's looking for Mirio, actually. Because I imagine One for All would have deduced that Mirio probably was the one who got it. Same with the Doctor. Same with a lot of them. Although it might take a bit longer than figuring out Midoriya had it. And so Shigaraki comes and he's already just like I was like, you're gonna so tell me, where is One for All? And they're just like they're freaked out, and Kyoka Suigestu like, do not run, Midoriya. You must stand in front of him. He's like, shatter, Kyoka Suigestu. Bako tries to blast him. I don't have time for this, and just pierces Bako, and Midoriya just all right, goodbye. And then obviously Eraserhead's got his erasure quirk activated on him. Oh, you're so cool, Eraserhead. But all of a sudden he feels a blade of wait, what? And the blade heals up, but hold on. What? And then I just killed you. And he gets blasted in the face again. I killed you too. What's going on here? Well, wait a minute, that's right. Actually, that's to be fair. Shigaraki's never not been under Midoriya's control. So he actually doesn't even have to use the release command. And so Midoriya and him kind of square off a little bit, but Midoriya quickly realizes, I can't take this guy on in a straight fight. Midoriya is like, nah, I don't, this isn't a good place for it. If you don't, then it's where you're in trouble. And so I was like, I'm going to have to put, and now here's the thing. This is where Mirio shows up. Like, right as Midoriya is about to do something, Mirio shows up and dukes it out with him. Now, Mirio, where would Mirio be in terms of One for All usage? That is a really good question. Because first of all, there's no guarantee that someone with a quirk still wouldn't be able to access the other quirks of One for All. It wasn't about being quirkless, although I'm guessing that didn't hurt. It was about I believe Banchu said it's been building up for a time and now it's ready. Like, it was all about just time. Granted, the right host probably helped too. But the fact that Mirio is quirkless here means that he actually probably could access One for All in the other quirks. So, and given the amount of time he spends with this, he was already a physical powerhouse. Like, he didn't need to work out to get One for All. So ultimately, where would he be right now? I think because he'd probably be devoting all of his time to training with it, and he probably would have figured it out a lot quicker than Midoriya did. 50%? I'm not joking. 50%? I think that's reasonable. And he probably has access to the majority of the quirks, too. At least as many as Midoriya had. Maybe even Fog, but probably not Fajin or Gear Shift yet, because those two were the most stubborn to accept him. Mount Monoma. Why am I Mirio? Mirio is kind of similar to Midoriya, but he's actually even more idealistic than Midoriya, to be fair. So, and I know if they like him more or less. Either way, though, he comes in and he's just wailing into Shigaraki. And their fight is getting legend. And obviously, he probably goes 100%, breaks his limbs, but keeps going. And so it really is. Midoriya actually takes a back seat here. And Mirio comes in, forces Shigaraki back. Now, Mirio probably doesn't go the whole Dark Deku route. He's probably fine, which is Midoriya spends more time just training, practicing. This also means because he doesn't go rogue, Lady Naga is sent after Mirio. Mirio, I think, eventually wins over the second and third user. And so he does have both Fajin and Gear Shift, which allows him to, when he's just beating a villain up, beat Lady Naga pretty easily, honestly. He'd probably have an easier time than Midoriya because he's just more experienced here. But this would all come down to the final fights. And Midoriya would definitely be there to fight Shigaraki and to fight Shigaraki with Bako and Mirio. It should be noted that he's fighting it with just his illusionary quirk, which again, he's still vastly under at this point. Even with all his modifications, nothing changed. Obviously, All Might would come after One for One to stall him, which, by the way, is still one of the best All Might moments, and he didn't even have his powers at that point. He was ready to just go all out, take his ass with One for All for One. Like, it was beast. He was Iron Man, Batman, all in one. Like, fuck yeah. But more to the point, he was obviously All Might would still lose that fight. Stain also loses his life. and One for All, I think would ultimately take over Shigaraki. Now, before that, though, Midoriya, using his quirk, using Kyoka Suigetsu, would still be able to manipulate Shigaraki's senses. Now, unfortunately, having all those extra quirks does mean he does have more than 5 senses. He's got extra sensory senses as well, and he can use those to compensate. But Midoriya is doing everything. He even just like shuts down like his sense of sight. He's like, I can't see Midoriya, you. But I can, using his senses out, expanding him outward, he's still able to find Midoriya, blast him back. Midoriya probably gets taken out, same as Bakugo temporarily. Mirio and him duke it out to the umpteenth degree. And Midoriya doesn't, like, the effects of Kyoka Suigetsu don't disappear just because you go unconscious. Well, Aizen had to sleep at some point too, so yeah. And so he's still just, it's like, fighting blind. Ultimately, though, Mirio does still, because Mirio really is a different variation on Deku, and I feel like his relationships to the Vestiges would be very similar, if not a bit more, even more positive, uplifting, because that's just who Mirio is. And so there he's able to, like, force Shigaraki back until the Demon King ultimately takes over. All for One takes over. This, however, and Mirio, he's missing his arms. It's like, damn it all. And then finally, though, it's like, Deku's like, no, don't worry, I got this. Izuku Midoriya, you really, that's right. You're the boy with the blade who controls controls senses. But you really, and even now, I'm still blind. Here, then, let me do you a favor. And he releases Kyoki Suigetsu. Well, it doesn't release it, but he returns his senses. You gave me back my sight. Cocky, are you? Cocky, are you, Midoriya? No, I just don't like to use that. I've been trying to hold back from using this ability. A hero doesn't kill. A hero doesn't hurt unless he has to. But yeah, there's going to be a time where the hero is given no other choice. Oh, is that what you're saying? And he starts like morphing and doing effects. You're going to kill me, boy. No, you're going to do it yourself. And he just holds Kyoka Suigetsu up. Bankai. And all of a sudden, it shatters again. Only the end is like, is that really it? Now, what is Kyoka Suigetsu's name, first off? Bankai name. For some Bankais retain the core Shikai name, like Katen Kyokatsu Karamatsu Shinju, or Benihime Kennen Barake Atarame. Others change name completely. Zanka no Tachi from Ryujin Jaka, Jakaro Kaibin from Suzumebushi. Trying to think of a couple other ones here that that do that. Actually, there aren't a lot now that I think about that do that. There certainly are, but a few, but not all of them. Still, I would say keep the name for now. Sakanade, Yokoshima Hapashima Yokofusagari, something Hapafusagari, something along those lines. Yeah, that's a different one too. I go with Kyoka Suigetsu, Water Flower, no, not Water Flower, Mirror Flower, Water Moon, I believe it is. God's Garden, Gozu Gaiden. And so Kyoka Suigetsu, Gozu Gaiden. It's like, really? And what will you do? My Shikai controls all 5 senses. What do you think my Bankai does? And then it's like, I don't care. And he attacks, tries to throw an energy blast, only for the energy blast to just that's I'd say, what is that? It's burning his arm off. Like his regeneration isn't even working. It gives me complete control over a person's body itself. A complete control over the subjective reality of that individual. Which really wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I think one of the reasons that Aizen probably has never used his Bankai. First and foremost is he's just people theorize he doesn't have a Bankai. Someone even said, "Oh no, Kyoka Suigetsu is his Bankai." No, it's fucking not. It's a Shikai. It has a release command that isn't Bankai. Like, guys, stop trying to justify the fact he doesn't have a Bankai. He does have a Bankai. He even says, "I have reached the limit of a Shinigami." That would include his Shikai and Bankai. Whatever his Bankai really does it's most likely something that's very... He's probably just never felt the need to use it because he's just so powerful as it is. But beyond that, he's probably never actually... It might be something that's kind of niche. It might be something like Shinji's Bankai, where it's a niche circumstance where he can use it. But still, in this case, instead of controlling this five senses, it controls literally the personal subjective reality of someone under the influence. It's possible one of the limitations could be it only works on one person. But the fact is, you can make them think they're melting, and they are actually melting. Like, the illusions, the effects of the are all now real. Like, that's what a lot of people have thought. A lot of people thought it manipulates time. I doubt that. Or I mean, I guess it controls someone's. It has to do with control of something. I think that is because there's no Shikai and Bankai that are completely unrelated. That's a fact. So whatever it's controlling goes beyond all five of your senses. So controlling your Ryatsu, I don't know. But anyway, it controls personality. Says you. It's like, and so Midoriya is just looking on. He's like, you're gonna have to burn away now. And so I burn away now, and I'm gonna have to live with that. And that's my choice to do. And and just burns away and just disintegrates. And so Midoriya ends up saving them. Now, Mirio does lose One for All. It does take a little bit more time than it did for Midoriya. But ultimately, he would lose it as well. And that doesn't mean he can't be a hero. Hell, look at Midoriya. He's still a hero with no quirk. I think he's ranked at, like, what, number 7 or something like that? So, ultimately, the day would be saved. The villains are get whatever reform they need or, treatment they are getting. And yeah, that would be in. Midoriya still, I think, becomes a teacher. He's still also a hero too. And he tells the kid with the plate quirk, he's like, you could be a hero too. Really? Tell me, how is he going to be a hero with plates coming off of his head? He can't even shoot the plates off. Oh, now to be fair, if he evolves the quirk, he could shoot the plates off of his head. Possible? I mean, anything's possible if you just believe. But more to the point, we would get pretty much the end of the series, and yeah, Deku and Ochako would probably end up getting together. So yeah, that would probably be the end of the series. That's the end of this particular What If. Now I'll put a poll up either yesterday or today because I'm pre-recording this for the next one, the Devil Fruit one. We'll see what he had a Logia last time. I'm considering I am actually really considering just making it so now we're going to do Paramecium, and then what next one would be a Zoan. And we'll go from there. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Later.